Want to perfect your beauty skills? Look no further. URSM candidate Julian Rolox Jr. presents to you the opportunity to attend a free makeup class where you will learn the basics of makeup application with the young professional Miss Michaela Peterson. Spaces are limited. To join, register on October 14, 2023 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Julian Rolox Jr. headquarters on Arch Road in Sucker Garden. A goodie bag with supplies along with a certificate of completion will be presented at the end of the class. To participate, you must be 18 years or older and provide a valid form of identification. For more information, please contact 1721-588-1216. We encourage and empower young entrepreneurs.
My name is Julian Roloff Jr. and I endorse this message.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport. The experience will move you.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Of course, Andrew Dick here, African descendant. You know, power to the people. I hope, you know, my drums in the background is playing nice. Anyway, in any case, today on the show, we have a show for you that has to do with GB. Of course, there was a long parliament meeting that took place on Wednesday. Discussions, GB, the hack, the bills, the crazy stories, what people are going through, and it's all compressed for your information. All right, so we're gonna go to that, and then of course we also have an interview today with the wonderful Edie Herenfeen from the United People's Party. I almost said National Alliance, she would kill me, boy, but no, from the United People's Party. That's Idelin Herenfeen. All right, we're going to talk about justice and so much more. So we have a good time today. Welcome. Let's begin.
Mr. Chairman, in the request by the members of Parliament requesting this meeting on the topic of GEBE, we have noted several items that we would want to be informed on as to what is really happening at our utility company, GEBE. We have mentioned the topics of, one, the entire billing situation. We have mentioned the outages and the load shedding that are taking place, the financial viability of the company, and the exact status of the data recovery that has been taking place since the latest hack on the systems of GEBE.
So the ongoing challenges faced by the utility company NVGEBE, I'll be able to provide you with information on several of these matters. And as we dive into this issue, Mr. Chairman, members of Parliament, we must all remember that clarity and collaboration will pave the best way forward for all concerned. GEBE for decades has been an institution that we've all relied upon, an entity that literally powers our homes and businesses and supports our daily lives. The past 12 months have tested the relationship with this company that we rely on. For some of us, it has stretched our patience. GEBE and the shareholder is fully aware of this. Addressing you today, I recognize that the gravity of these challenges are touching the lives of individual citizens of St. Martin. I understand that these challenges, and I would like you as the people of St. Martin to understand that the majority of these challenges did not start with the hack. The hack mainly exposed them. The situation at GEBE is a culmination of years of challenges, oversight or lack thereof, and to some extent, neglect. But assigning blame is not the way forward. Real and meaningful change demands time, effort, understanding, and collaboration. It's essential to remember that for GEBE to change and improve, it requires the faith and support of its stakeholders. Criticism, while valid, should be constructive, guiding the company towards improvement. We ask our customers to continue to support NVGEB's recovery process with your cooperation. Your patience and understanding are invaluable, and we thank you for what you have been doing thus far.
Mr. Chairman, with the information provided by the Prime Minister on behalf of GEBE, I have learned that currently we stand at 90% of the records of GEBE having been restored. That being the case, what do I understand under being restored? Does that mean that 90% of the client's records are completely up to date, payments recorded, so completely up to date, and there's only a 10% of GB clients that, and now I need this to be filled in what category would the 10% fall? So these persons, their records are not complete, their payments are not registered. In what category does the 10% not yet restored fall, is my question. There was some publicity a couple of weeks ago given to the fact that persons with outstanding amounts, for whatever reason, would be able to pay 25% of the outstanding and the balance, I guess, in installments. Where does that particular plan stand now? So, do persons still have, did they ever have the opportunity to pay 25% of their outstanding as announced by GEBE and the Minister of VSA a couple of weeks ago? Does that particular plan still stand? Talking about plans, my question would be, where do we stand based on the financial situation of the company, which we have been told that the senior plan depends on the financial viability of the company. So my question, given the financial situation of GEBE, is the possibility for the senior plan, which is separate from the billing and the down payment and what have you, is that possible? We have been told by GB's management that based on historic numbers, the senior plan, in other words, giving senior relief on their utility bill, amounts to approximately 500,000 guilders. That was a number quoted to us. So where does that stand in the whole financial outlook of where do we stand where that is concerned?
I have a few questions through you, Mr. Chairman, to the Prime Minister. It is not a public secret that up to today, many consumers are still reporting receiving inaccurate bills. And I've listened to your presentation. However, it's still quite unclear as to why, up to today, certain persons are still complaining about receiving inaccurate bills, and there are so many discrepancies in light of the many complaints about the billing discrepancies and the outages. What plans does NVGEB have in place to ensure more consistent electricity access to all of St. Martin, including the more remote areas, seeing that there are certain areas that are always the first to lose electricity and are quite often without electricity? Which strategies is NVGEBE utilizing to ensure the infrastructure is adequately equipped to handle the increasing energy demands seeing the island's growth? How is NVGEBE working to improve its communication strategies, especially during unplanned outages or other emergencies? Considering these many challenges that NVGEBE are facing, are there any major overhauls or strategic shifts being discussed to enhance service delivery to St. Martin, to the residents of St. Martin? In your presentation, renewable energy was discussed, and you stated that NVGEBE is considering renewable energy. What alternative models or energy sources is GEBE considering, and can this be shared with us? And is there a particular timeline for the implementation of this? Has NVGEBE conducted any internal audits or assessments to ensure its operations run transparently and efficiently? I have 3 more questions. Are there plans to engage the St. Martin community and get their feedback, or have sessions concerning all of these concerns of the residents? Are there any relief programs or incentives that are being considered for the affected consumers? And my final question is NVGEBE seeking collaborations with any regional or international energy providers or experts to gain insights or support for the ongoing challenges? I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So there is some good points that I see here. A lot of the concerns, however, that remain with GB, for me personally, and I know for many people in society, like the previous speaker, MP Ramu, spoke about the billing. We heard questions about the finances. But one of the things I also want to pose questions about is the employees, supervisors, management, employees, and their current situation. And I want to start with that because I think that's something that kind of gets lost in all of this GB situation. I was very concerned and sad, really, to see the announcement that GB had to make to tell clients, understandably frustrated, to not be going into GEBE, to use foul language, threaten, and so on. And on the one hand, yes, I understand a lot of the frustration. But this is something that the employees, customer service, cashiers, imagine going to disconnect someone and dealing with those type of threats. That is the situation, how deeply this situation has emotionally affected both the society and its employees. So I want to start by really thanking the employees of GEBE throughout this entire process for actually holding fast, staying strong, working with management and everyone involved to try to come to resolutions to these things. However, Mr. Chairman, I do want to ask, I know that the GB employees are represented by the same union as the SMCU. I know that there were some issues being negotiated on Telem's side, but I have not heard from GB what is the current situation in terms of its negotiation with its employees, in terms of whatever the negotiation is. There's always been discussions about COLA. What is the situation with that? Now I can understand there will be a bit of a reservation, like, yeah, man, right now we're busy trying to even stay afloat. But at the end of the day, it is those employees that are an integral part of helping the company stay afloat. So we do need to know at least, I mean, we don't need the specifics of the negotiation, Mr. Chairman. We're here to discuss with the Prime Minister, but I do want to understand that it has the attention of GB, and that especially when it comes to ensuring that negotiations are going well, and if there's a cost factor, perhaps there's something else I could propose that could help maybe deal with that situation and make sure that the employees are being taken care of. Mr. Chairman, there was also a question posed regarding the managing director and so on, and I agree with the Prime Minister that I don't want to go back. You know, there's been all kinds of reports and news reports on what has happened in the past with management and so on. However, what is important to me is what happens going forward. Look, from what I can only go based on what I read within the media reports regarding Ms. Shireen Daniel, Mr. Temer, and these others that have taken GB to court, and at least in the interpretation of the media, it seems like they won a court case. So what happens then? Is the relationship so strained that they cannot go back to work? I see what was reported that there are penalties if they do not get to work, and that is where my concern is. Is GB in a position now where, for not being able to find a solution with these people, that now additional money is being spent not just on legal fees, but on penalties?
Mr. Chairman, through you, I'd like to ask the Prime Minister, since the hack, I think it was of March 2022 to date, how many employees has GB hired? And has GB hired, how many consultants have they hired, and how many private entities has it made agreements with? And what are and in general, what financially does that mean for GB since then to now? And the type of employees you hired, why? What was the reason for hiring new employees since the hack? In comparison, prior to the hack, the type of the financial income, the monthly income that GB used to have prior to the hack, percentage-wise, how is the income compared now? Like this, maybe the last 6 months. How is the income in comparison with prior to the hack? So let's say the last 6 months was, let's say from March onwards. In March, we used to get $5 of 2019 or 2018, and now we're just getting $3. So I just want to have like a comparison financially, the income of GB in comparison to prior to the hack, at least for the last 6 months, if possible. I was recently made to understand, Mr. Chairman, through you, that Computech received a contract at GB. I'd like to know if there was an open bidding for Computech. I'd like to know the reason for acquiring or making an agreement with Computech, and what exactly are the tasks and responsibilities of Computech. The crisis team right now, Mr. Chairman, what is it costing GB? Since the inception of the crisis team, what is the complete cost? How many people form part of the crisis team, and what is it costing the company on a monthly basis? In general, I was made to understand that there's always a reserve in place for when you have hurricane season. There's always a specific reserve that GB have to have in place. What is the reserve compared to the standard amount of money you're supposed to have during the hurricane season? So prior to the hack, what was the reserve this hurricane season for GB? The Prime Minister, through you, Mr. Chairman, stated that earlier this year that GB was tested. Tested how? Is it that a hack? I kind of heard her alluding something to there was a potential hack, but it was stopped. I would like the Prime Minister, through you, Mr. Chairman, to maybe clarify, give us a better understanding of exactly what she meant by the company was tested earlier this year. What exactly happened there? Maybe a little more of a breakdown of what happened there.
I was going to reserve the majority of my questions for the second round, which I probably will hold on to. But I do want to say a couple things because I listened quite intently to the opening statement of the Prime Minister that came in here. And the Prime Minister talks about not throwing blame, not throwing blame the challenges that exist. But I disagree, because I think that you have to look at why we are here in the first place with GB. It's not about throwing blame on that side of the aisle. No, it's about looking at how we got here. And I hope that the people that I spoke to over the weekend are tuning into this, are gonna be guided, directed to actually come look at this video, because what has happened over the years, and this is from an external auditor perspective, as well as an inside perspective of an employee of GB. What has happened over the years is you have had management that has literally been puppeted by a supervisory board of directors. You have had a supervisory board of directors that has been puppeted by a government, and sometimes they like to change positions. And what happens in that is when they start interfering with government-related companies, then you feel this pressure as management of a company to adhere to what they're telling you or to listen to them because they're puppeting you. So you feel this pressure of doing what they tell you because there's this sword hanging over your head that if you don't do what I tell you, I'm gonna fire you. And that has happened from back in the day when money was taken out of the water company all up until today. You have had board members trying to literally save the company. You have had board members try to literally destroy the company. And this has all happened under the direction of governments that have interfered. So you have to know so that we can avoid this, because right now, there's no way that you can paint this picture. It's not pretty. It is not easy. What has happened is the destruction of literally the last company that was doing okay. After Hurricane Irma, we were considering, and I am going to be very open about it. GB was considering at the time whether or not they would take the assistance of the World Bank. Do you know one of the requirements from the World Bank was to dismiss about 30% of the staff? And there was no way that we could allow that, because what would have happened was if you had dismissed 30% of the staff after hurricane, I don't think they put it in their head that they would then become the financial burden of the government that actually owns the company. So when people are talking about dismissing staff, when they're talking about finding companies like GB, when you find them, they're still government related. So at the end of the day, the person who has to take the responsibility is the government. And that's really what I want to get out of this point today before I pose any questions, is what are we going to do about not interfering and not destroying the companies? Because at the end of the day, to me, it all boils down to government interference, because government is who places the people on the supervisory board of directors, and they in turn overstep. They overstep their authority, because it's because of them that decisions were not taken to actually upgrade a system that was exposed. That is the point.
So now I want to ask the question. Who are the real owners of GEBE? Who are the real owners of GEBE? Mr. Chairman, every one of us in here, those who are viewing at home, are the owners of GEBE. What has happened, Mr. Chairman, is that because all of us cannot sit down on a chair of management, there are those who have been assigned in order to manage our company to the best of their ability. Mr. Chairman, as I said, I'm going to be very brief because many questions were asked, and I believe once the answers are given, it might make me speak less in the second round. But one thing I must mention, definitely there are things that happened in the past that has to be looked into. And again, having the advantage of being part of the Island Council, I can recall when the deceased, may rest in peace, Mr. Lambert, did fight tooth and nail to ensure that government at that time were not able to use GB as their personal piggy bank. Mr. Chairman, definitely there are some things in the past that will come to the forefront. But as I said, I'll wait for the second round and see what answers we receive from the questions that are posed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I just have a few questions for the Prime Minister through you, Mr. Chair. Namely, when was the last time that the shareholder met with GEBE? What is the current composition of the Supervisory Board of GB? And just some questions regarding their finances. So, in the Prime Minister's presentation, there was quite a lot said, namely about the attempted hacks, I guess, in January or so of this year, and how GB's implementation of best practices stopped it. But I kind of want to go a little further into the money part of it. So are the company's financial obligations being met regarding payments to vendors, et cetera? And just a clear-cut answer would be best. When is the last time that GB paid its concessions to government? I know in 2014 they had advanced like 4 years of concessions, but if I remember correctly, but considering Irma in 2017, then COVID, the reserves that were taken from them before Irma, what's the status of concession payments now? And what's their overall financial health compared to before the cyber attack? As well, and my final question actually for the first round, and I'll wait to hear the answers to the other questions from the other MPs. Back in August 2022, when the Prime Minister came to Parliament, there was a presentation provided with an overview of the plan moving forward. And some of those items have come to pass. The appointment of Mr. Washington, the temporary independent manager, assignment of the crisis management team. But under that plan, there was also meant to be an independent investigation conducted into the actions and decisions taken over the last few months, prior to and after the hack, I assume, if I'm recalling correctly. Did that occur? And what did it reveal? Because that would kind of tie into what MP De Wever was mentioning about blame. It's not about blame, it's about accountability. And when you have a society that believes in holding persons accountable, it means that if the person is not willing to step forward and say, you know, I messed up, there is a process to actually hold them accountable for the decisions that were made, whether they were right or wrong. So those are my questions for now, Mr. Chair, and I'll await the answers for the second round. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. GBE is not just another company. It is a company that affects every citizen, every business on St. Martin. It provides us with electricity, and it provides us with water. And if these services are not provided optimally, they affect our daily lives, they affect our daily businesses. So, Chairman, I would like to thank the Prime Minister for her introduction that shed some light on some of the developments that have taken place over the past year or two. And it has clarified up front some of the concerns members of Parliament may have had, but also concerns that the public has had. Mr. Chairman, the several members that spoke before me have asked about every question there is to ask about the topic at hand. But nonetheless, while some of us may not like to repeat, it is sometimes important to reinforce and hear it again to avoid one believing it's just the concern of one member or maybe the concern of two members. We cannot sometimes overemphasize some of the concerns that we have. Mr. Chairman, the matter of the incorrect billing.
Good afternoon to the people of St. Martin. Indeed, in conferring with the interim manager, some of the questions are quite technical, so they are requesting NVGB for their portions at least 2 weeks to be able to respond to some of the questions, especially where the comparative data is being required, and to ensure that the answers are completely sound and accurate as has been requested.
No, but MP Bryson, look, MP Bryson, this is exactly why I have confidence in you. You're a very intelligent young man. I know that from day one when I met you, which you know how that goes. Yep. And this is the level of discussion you need in Parliament, in those committees. I hope the audience and the people are listening. This is
Parliament right here would love nothing better than to say, let's allocate 10 million guilders towards helping our issues in social needs and so on. But how are we to do that when we have all of these conditions of, well, you can't get more liquidity, you need to cut, you need to do this. Many of us feel like we're in a position where we can't fully extend our ability to legislate.
But my decision is to stay where I'm at. At the end of the day, the way that MP Rolando Bryson leads, he allows me to work. He gives me that freedom to work. It's not always a phone call of pressure or do this, do that, don't do this, and that's part of the reason that I'm able to produce.
Any of the difficulties that this government faces today, I didn't sit down, do nothing, and have my staff write press releases. No, I got up and asked myself from opposition benches, what can I do? So I read my constitution, the one I swore to uphold, which gives us the rights to bring laws, to bring amendments, interpellation rights, inquiry rights. So we asked ourselves the questions at the time, what have we done? Regardless of...
He has represented this country qua what is expected of a parliamentarian professionally, and I can align myself with that.
Simply gone through a very difficult economic time and are simply asking of the tax department an opportunity to have a payment plan. And it seems that this is really done kind of like if they feel like how you talk to them, it's extreme.
St. Martin, we probably go far, and we know, search for a sign of a change. A Chino, you know it got days when you feel like a zero. I woke up this morning, but feel like Mark Mingo. Tomorrow be a better day. Respect is the key, education gon' matter, so don't you try to run away. St. Martin, the place where the food is good, the people is good, the music is good. We living like we on a road. They're trying to take us down, but I'm thinking cause they really don't. Misunderstood. Oh Lord, help us protect ourselves, help us look in ourselves. We're searching for what they call the fire that's in ourselves. I just want to see the best from my motherland. I just want the whole world here to understand that we came from the bottom of the sewer, now we heading way up, high up unto Wonderland. Opportunity is yours, so make it happen. Taking action, change.
Some of them even say it's the guns on one coco, so they won't let me play, and they blaming polio. Who they think they could fool? All we know they better do fast. Polio or no polio, man we won, we must. Mama when they hear, they go get the carnival. Oh, all masqueraders on heat. Well they didn't care if it was official, but they start turning peace on the street. And they start to jump around, and they start to tumble down, and they fall down on the ground. Yes, they see how they did. But what was so comical in the midst of Bacchanal? Rain comes and wash out mass in May. Who they think they could fool? All we know they better do fast. Polio or no polio, man we won, we must. Mama when they hear, they go get the carnival. Oh, all masquerade.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? But sorry, no sir. They got this game tonight and I can't miss it. Me and my boy, we gotta watch the game, So I bringing this in. You check? Alright, let me watch your leg go.
Sir, sorry. Why so difficult? Look, I'm watching TV here on my phone with the Tel TV Plus app. You really gotta upgrade.
Okay, so Miss, tell me about the Tel TV Plus. I hear about this.
Okay. So once you apply for Tel TV Plus,
Okay.
you can enjoy it anytime on the go.
Anytime.
Anytime.
On the go?
On the go. You simply download the app, log into your account at any time, sit back and enjoy. You will never have to miss your match.
Yo, bus driver, take me back to tell him now, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you as Ideljen Heerenveen, a proud prospective candidate of the United People's Party, also known as the UP Party. My vision for our community is built on the foundation of progress and transformation. Education is the cornerstone of our society's growth. I am committed to driving better and innovative education, empowering our youth with tools they need to thrive in a dynamic world. But education doesn't stop in the classroom. By investing in sports within our educational system, we not only promote physical well-being, but also unlock the potential of sport tourism through initiatives like a drag strip. Cannabis legalization is not just about legality. It's about education and empowerment, fostering responsible use and dispelling myths. Furthermore, my commitment extends to reforming our prison system, creating a rehabilitative environment that supports individuals to reintegrate into our society successfully. Immigration reform is also a priority. I believe in granting permanent residency to individuals born on the soil of St. Martin, as they are an integral part of our diverse tapestry. I am dedicated to fostering a brighter future for our community. Together we can build a St. Martin that thrives on education, inclusivity, and progress. Therefore, I ask you to stand up with me. My heart beats green. And yours?
Late night show with Andrick, of course, here with one of the candidates, one of my favorite candidates. And that is, of course, Miss Heerenveen. I say it good this time. You see, we practiced it. We did enough interviews to say it.
Maar je bent Surinamer.
Oh, okay.
Yes, moet je het weten.
Yeah. Suriname without ID. Now, of course, we're talking about...
We're not started.
Yeah, we started already, you know.
So you're not born in St. Martin?
No, apparently no, you know, only when it's convenient. Now, of course, the election time is on, and, you know, I don't like to get distracted by, you know...
Other things.
So, the Justice Week just concluded.
Yes.
And that's been going as always.
Yeah.
But of course, the justice issues are still
there.
They're still there.
Yeah.
Somewhat disappointed, especially as with
lot.
Prison. You
Yeah,
know,
a lot.
where do we begin? Where do we begin? Besides the function book, where do we begin?
There is actually nowhere to begin because each issue is an issue.
Yeah.
You know, but it's something that even I did wrong, have to admit. We were so focusing on what the Justice Department did wrong or what the minister did wrong. But when we go back through all the paperwork, yes, they did a lot of wrong, but it starts with the unions. The unions are a problem.
Yeah.
A lot of unions had signed agreements that they made with the Justice Department without informing their members to see if their members agree. So when you sit at a table with the minister or you sit at a table with the Justice Department and they bring you an offer, the first thing you have to do is say, let me come back with an answer. I have to bring this back to the members.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, we remember you're supposed to trust your union to at least...
My mom told me don't even trust your underwear because before you know it's on the floor, the elastic band is broken. So you as a president of a union, You cannot make a decision without having discussed this with your members. And then the thing is, for example, APFO, they haven't had a president election for years.
Yeah.
So the seat becomes delicious. The power becomes delicious.
Prestige, I guess, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're liking the seat, so you're going to act as if you can make decisions without interacting with your former members. That's why I wrote in the article, we have to do better, and that starts also by the unions.
Yeah.
If you don't communicate, you're signing something, and now 90% of the justice workers are angry. Who wants the money they are entitled to within 7 to 10 years? That's like nothing.
Yeah, and that's why I don't understand why the members even agreed to it. But then when I understood that the unions agreed to it, kind of sorta, they were present but they couldn't speak, but they were there. But it was kind of sorta.
If you cannot speak up for your members, don't become a president of a union. If you don't have balls to make decisions or go back and stand for your members, even if you are going against the Justice Department, you are there for the benefit of your members.
Yeah.
And it looks like they become friends with the Justice Department, or they become good friends with the ministers, some of them. And then there's a conflict of interest because they're not going for what the members want.
Yeah.
And that is something that's happening with the prisons, with the prison guards, with the custom agents, and now even the police.
Yeah.
It's highly likely that on January, they will not get the raise on the new salary scale that was promised to them that was going to start in January.
One of the scariest part is that the minister made a presentation in Parliament a couple of months ago about the prison and some of the improvements and some of the stuff that was done. And then if you look to President now...
No, I just have to say, did you read the... what's it called again? The document, the result of the investigation that the internet... Okay, you read it.
Yes.
So there was no improvement.
There was no improvement.
There was even...
There was going to...
Yeah.
They have plans to...
but it never happens.
Yeah.
And like you say, even the smallest thing which was required, that you have to have different languages so the inmates can understand, it's not done.
Yeah.
So the simplest things are not done, but yet keep promising, and they're getting tired too.
Yeah.
We just had a custom agent that, not even a couple of weeks ago, put in his resignation. Done.
You see?
And they're already understaffed.
So you imagine, more and more, we're losing more and more officers.
And I like the fact that everybody is getting on the hype of justice, which I like because
they get the
I
attention.
started it.
Yeah.
So give them the attention now. So everybody is on board. But at the end, everybody ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, yeah. What solution do we have? Now, of course, this election is legislation.
It's legislation.
So it's important to also know that, yes, you can go in and you can make a change, but, you still have to have a group.
You have to have a group, and also you have to get the funds in.
Yeah.
Last time I spoke about the crime funds, they let it be known that I don't know how the crime funds work, but we pay Alvendal from the crime funds. Yeah. But we can't touch the crime funds. I don't know how it works. No, we don't know.
It's only it's only if there's a emergency or something. But the thing is,
was an emergency.
Yeah, and they can't tell us how much
it was exactly
how much the crime fund is.
Yeah.
And here it's in the millions.
I know.
Yeah.
So there's so much things that you can do and think about how to get the funds in. But now it's the excuse about the ENIA, excuse also about they had to get money to pay some funds to SZV because of, the whole Tenara thing and the funds, and there's insurance not being paid. If there wasn't paid, then they would have to pay for a doctor visit and for their medicine. So all that is now excuse why there is no funds to pay. And my issue is, if we are having an issue with funds, it's very easy. Let's communicate honestly.
Yeah.
With them and tell them the solution. You cannot keep promising them, no, October, because October is here.
Yeah.
In the last meeting where they bashed me, Justice Department bashed me in the meeting with the custom agents, they said October, the custom agents are going to get an answer.
Yeah.
It's October.
It's October.
They haven't heard anything, not even respectfully to tell them, hey, we're not ready yet.
And some officers are also waiting. Some justice workers are still waiting on their
Identity.
Yeah. They're waiting on the letter, at least, stating, hey, this is.
And that's the thing. When I speak, then everybody want to do something like for 3 days to make it seem like, oh, Edie is lying.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to the same.
It goes dormant after a while because, we had a thing that we always say on the show that St. Martin people are episodic. Every day they go on
everything new.
So it's everything. It's a new.
We're like a reality show, like a new episode.
We're on season 13, and it's getting hotter and hotter.
Yeah.
No, of course, coming with how we can fix it, because we found money for less important things, and I think 44 million guilders is a joke compared to us wanting to sign for a 600 million loan.
Exactly.
For a company. And that's 3,000 people compared to how many people we have?
We have, yeah.
In justice. And we always boast that justice is one of the biggest, it's the biggest ministry.
Ministry, it is actually, yeah.
So we found money for less important things.
And Rolando did find an option on how to pay it in full. So he is busy with that.
Oh, gosh.
And
the reason why I say oh gosh is because he helping National Alliance again and they're gonna get the credit. Are you just don't learn? Rolando don't learn.
No.
Come on.
He listen, people know when somebody does something. And I thought always when I started helping the Justice Department, I was like at the beginning, people were like, no, don't do that because you're not gonna get the credit.
Yeah.
People are gonna National Alliance gonna take the credit. I did not care because for me it wasn't an ego thing about this part or that part. It was about I need to help them. But at the end, when you have conversations with them, they know it's you, eh?
Yeah. Okay.
They know and they appreciate it because
they pay attention.
Because even when they bashed me in a meeting saying that I'm using them and they came to me and they said, Edie, we got you. You know what I'm saying? We are grateful for you still helping us because I could have said, you know what, I don't.
And you sounded the alarm. Otherwise, we would have never known.
No.
And you had to show proof, and you showed proof because it was like, no, everything is fine. It's just that a bunch of spoiled brats. They don't want to wear.
Yeah.
They don't want to wear.
And they're still going through the same, even worse. But I am waiting because she asked till October. So if October,
wait until the end.
Yes, I'm giving you grace. If October doesn't come and on 1st of November, I'm gonna release more.
Yeah, because there is more.
There is a lot. There is a lot of things going wrong, but that's why I say I'm not only saying the Justice Department is wrong, and I'm not only blaming this Justice Department, but all the ones before.
To where we is today.
Yes, but also the unions. The unions have a lot of blame. They might not like me today. A lot of people don't like me anyways, but they have the majority of blame. They play ping pong with their members, and their members, a lot of them are not even aware of the statuten of APFO or the statuten of NRPD, of the statuten of WITSU. They don't know that, so they just go along.
Yeah. So at the end, they need to also,
And I tell them, find your statuten, read them, and know your rights.
Yeah.
APFO, if here is not working for you, go to Curacao. They can assist.
Yeah. Well, you've been paying the dues. You've been paying your dues all the time.
And you have a right to get a lawyer. If something is wrong, APFO is supposed to pay for a lawyer for you.
Yeah. All right. Now, of course, when it comes to the racetrack business, how far are we getting with that?
We are still working behind the scenes. And I have to say, it's not credit to another person, but I have to say Minister Durang is open, and I'm not lying. If I tell him I send you an email, he is very responsive. So we are really working behind the scene because I am a person, I don't rely only on government. If government can help me, we need to find another way. We need to go in the private sector.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm also looking into that option.
So private, even if it's private sector together with government.
Yeah, or
whatever.
even if it's private sector only, because we are enough associations, different associations who can come together and work. So I do have something special for the boys on the 11th of November.
St. Martin's Day. Yeah.
St. Martin's Day, because everybody writes.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know.
Yeah.
But I did have to say, and it's coming out that what I'm gonna have on, or not have, I invited international people to St. Martin.
Oh, nice.
Yes, because I always say I fight for these boys' talent, but I don't want their talent to stay here.
Yeah.
I want them to learn how to network. I want to learn how they get invitations to go ride outside and stuff like that. So I did get important bloggers, a very famous person in that world, to come to St. Martin and vlog on that day. Yeah, and vlog on the day. So St. Martin's gonna go all over Instagram, all over social media. So everybody's gonna go know on St. Martin Day we're doing it big. And of course, I'm gonna tell them they need to have their helms, they need to be safe, they can't be doing the buck wild stuff.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity for them, if they behave, that, hey, you can network and you can make it.
Yeah, outside.
Outside of St. Martin.
Your message to all the justice workers for Justice Week.
You know, you can't take away Justice Week from them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's something that's been celebrated for years and they're looking forward to it. And a lot of them don't know the problems that are actually going on. I did see a lot of them did not participate because they were angry. But I have mixed opinion on what's going on right now. And I feel like they have to make a statement because everybody is kumbayahi, smiling, laughing, eating all the food. And then when it's done, they're crying, coming, we need help, we need this. So you need to know your priorities sometimes. And some of them, if there was a moment of relaxation or they can release their problems, hey, go ahead, yes. But for the others that didn't go, I understand and I respect it because they're making a point, like we are not happy. So that was my whole thing with Justice Week. Like, to me, I had a feeling of it was fake, sorry to say it, because I cannot imagine a minister standing up there laughing and smiling and acting like everything is perfect, but you have 60% of your justice worker living in miserable conditions.
Yeah.
So that's my honest opinion.
Oh, right. Edie. That's why we always just get in trouble when we do interviews, you know. Thank you. Of course, how's the campaigning going?
Well, to be honest, can I be honest?
I only want honesty.
I've been a little bit lazy on it and laid back because I've been observing.
Oh, okay.
Because I've seen everything going around.
Yeah,
so
but if you observe, they gonna observe you. So.
They can observe me. I always make sure I look cute when they observe me. You observe, like they said. They said, but I'm going out hard. I said, starting the 11th of November, because I want to make a point. I want to make a statement that St. Martin is beyond, you know?
Yeah.
Or
the petty stuff.
Yes, beyond that. We have so much talent. We have, and every, not only in the bike world, but on everything, basketball, softball,
so highlight
volleyball.
Highlight the positive instead of the negative.
Yes, let's highlight the positive and let's give these guys also a different stigma. So we always villainize them and they're so negative and criminals and this, but let's show them that they have opportunities too. Also, that's my thing.
Miss Edie.
Yeah. But don't let people believe that I'm only about justice and wheelie in.
Yes,
because I'm coming also with the whole business thing, because I have also a lot of business people in business and friends that I speak to that come up with ideas, things that need to change. For example, the tax system.
Don't give you started.
We have to make a tax system like we say, tax for the dummies. Easy, accessible. 1, 2, 3, you can do it instead of having this complicated way, and that's why people don't, stress about it and attribute to what they need to do. of our economy.
All right, stay with Late Night. Thank you so much for coming, my dear.
You're welcome.
And of course, we will talk again.
Yes, always.
All right, Late Night Show. We'll be right back. All right. Now you understand. Let us say goodbye until tomorrow. Do have a good one. And of course, continue watching Late Night, your source of information that is credible, that is factual, and that doesn't jerk you around. Bye-bye.